We have with us a very special lady. I haven't had the pleasure to meet in person, but I hope to very soon. Her name is Kerry Dean, and as all of you know who have watched the show at all, I am involved with a product called Xocai Healthy Chocolate, and she is the ambassador, which I believe, and I'll double check with her, she's with the highest rank of Xocai, and not an easy thing to do, but not as difficult as you might think, but we're going to get more into that. She's wonderful. I do coaching calls with her, and she, by way of introduction, she has survived the recession, which a lot of us are trying to do, me included. She lost her home. She lost both her mother and her husband, and she was completely broke. How much worse could it get? I don't even want to know. And was in a depression, not surprisingly. When she heard about Xocai and joined the company in '07. She's a mother of 4, grandmother of 2. She's a former nurse, as was I. She, as I said, she holds the highest position in the company, ambassador, and she achieved that rank in '09. She's featured in both Prosper and Success magazine, and she's a millionaire, folks, and multi-millionaire in less than 5 years. And so she's an amazing, amazing woman. I want to hear all about her story, and the reason I asked her on is really because I started the show to help people, to help especially Valley businesses, or to help really anybody who is struggling financially. And I don't think that's a small boat that all of us are in, and Kerry can certainly speak to that from her little bio that I just read. So let's get Kerry on and start talking to her, because I want to hear, I could blather on, but hi Kerry.
Hi.
How is Canada? I'm great. How's Canada?
Hot.
Really?
Yes, we're in the middle of a heat wave here. So
I didn't know Canada.
Not hot compared to California, but it's hot for Canada.
Well, okay, tell me, what's your definition of hot in Canada?
It's about, we usually talk Celsius, but in Fahrenheit it's mid-90s.
Oh, mid-90s. And do you have the humidity there?
Yes.
You do have the humidity. So that's uncomfortable. Yeah. I didn't think it got hot in Canada. That's never been. What part of Canada actually are you in?
I live near Toronto. So if you're thinking of the United States, I am about 35 minutes west of Toronto and 35 minutes east of Niagara Falls.
Okay, so you're
Niagara Falls, if you think of Buffalo, I'm kind of right above that area.
Perfect. I know exactly, yes, where it is. And I'm sure it's beautiful there.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Are you native to Canadian, or did you move there?
No, I'm born and raised Canadian. I do have a sister who lives in Florida, so I do have an American sister. But,
okay.
But I am Canadian. Yes.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for taking your time. You are a very busy lady, a very successful busy lady, and thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully we can give people some avenues and some things to think about in order to increase their bottom line, my bottom line, and get healthy at the same time. I mean, what a great combination.
It really is.
So, okay, so you have kind of a very sad story to tell.
Well, it's funny because that you say that. When I started this business, I could hardly get a smile on my face. And now I have a nickname, and it's Permagrin. Some friends who started calling me Permagrin because I can hardly get the smile off my face. But I often joke that the recession started at my house first because my husband and I we lost our business, which caused us to lose our home. Ugh. And being in my 50s, that's not something that you take lightly because you feel like you've worked all your life, you've achieved certain things. Then my mom got sick and passed away, and then my husband got sick and passed away. And so those were my support systems to handle all these other things that had happened. So my support systems were gone. I had my children, of course, but as a parent, and I think most parents can identify with this, you really don't want to have to worry that your children are worrying about you. And so that's kind of where I was when when I was contacted about this company. I often say I was broke. I wasn't poor. There's a difference. And
okay, what's the difference? That's interesting.
A lot of your listeners will know the difference there, because poor is often a state of mind, and broke is when you've had something and you've lost it, you know what it's like to be successful, and but it's gone, and it's terrifying. It's a terrifying spot to be in. And so I was in a depression, and feeling sorry for myself. I think I didn't get out of my house coat for about a year.
Who could blame you? I mean,
yeah,
that's just...
So I was low, for sure.
Yeah, duh. I mean, I don't think anybody would take that away from you. I think you had every right to feel low and sad for a while and do your grieving. I mean, yeah, I think that's totally understandable. But as a nurse, you kind of knew the process of grieving and getting over that and helping yourself out. I
did, and it's interesting because I was a critical care nurse. That was my background. So I worked in intensive care in those areas. And if you think about it, how many people would want a critical care nurse who's in a depression looking after them? So, nursing is challenging. And
yes.
I didn't feel like I had the strength to do a full day's work. And I knew I had to, but I didn't have the strength to do that. So I was kind of in a dilemma. And people don't become nurses, as you know, because you're a nurse. They become nurses because they care about people and they want to help people. But they don't become nurses because they think they're going to make a lot of money. It's an interesting thing in our society. We pay, entertainers and athletes huge amounts of money, but people who are on the front lines, our firefighters, our police officers, our nurses, they aren't highly paid, and yet where would we be without them? But I didn't have the energy, and I don't know if everybody could identify with that, but certainly for me, that's where I was when I heard about this company, and that was totally. I was kind of felt like I was drowning. I don't know if anyone could identify with that, but that's how I felt.
Yes, overwhelmed, drowning. It's interesting because everything is relative, right? So
yes.
As a critical care nurse, to a lot of people, you would be making a lot of money. I mean, they make a nice living. I mean, they do. They make a nice living. And, I don't know what it's like in Canada, but here in the States, I mean, it can be like a $90,000, $100,000 job for critical care. They're highly trained, and it's incredibly stressful. But from your perspective now, I mean, you're a millionaire. Right? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
No one is more surprised than I am. It is interesting, and it's all in perspective. And when I was nursing, I was part of a team because my husband and I were both contributing to the family income. Mm-hmm. I had my income, he had his income, so we had a very nice life, a nice lifestyle. And then when that ended, it is an interesting phenomena how you change your perception. And it's not that critical care nurses don't make good money in Canada; they make excellent money. But whether I was fit to go back to that, and I did teach nursing at the university. I thought, well, I could go back to that. Mm-hmm. I had options, which is nice.
Yeah.
But when this came along, for me, this was a better option because of the physical state I was in and the mental state I was in. The network marketing, I could work that around myself.
Exactly.
I could, if I only had a few hours a day where I felt up to it, I could do that. Whereas the idea of going on a 12-hour shift or facing a classroom of
daunting.
Students was just overwhelming to me. I even the thought of it, was just too much. And people can say, well, pull your socks up, but when you're in that state, you can't.
You can't, and
so
I know.
For me, the idea of just working around my own schedule was very, very appealing. So one of the things that I love about network marketing is it does offer time freedom.
Absolutely.
And one of the things people don't think about is the time freedom of when you can work. And so I did get a part-time job. It wasn't in nursing. It was doing something else that was less taxing, certainly less income. But and I started this, and so it was an interesting time in my life where I was suddenly on my own, completely on my own, other than my children. I mean, I have great children, but as a parent, you don't want to feel like you're at all dependent on your children.
Absolutely.
They were, high school, so they're quite dependent on the parents still at that age. So
Kerry,
it was an interesting time.
Kerry, can I just stop you right there? We have to go to commercial. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
We're going to pick this up. And just as a sidebar, someone sent me a very nice note, and I wanted to acknowledge that they just discovered Voice of the Valley, and they said they would miss it. And I really appreciate that. I will miss you too. But a lot of my shows are on YouTube, so you can watch them there, and hopefully I'll get the other ones downloaded at some point. But we'll be back in a couple of minutes and rejoin Kerry Dean from Canada and talk about Xocai.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Greg Rude, a local real estate agent working with London Properties. You might be thinking about buying or selling a property right now, or maybe you just have a question about real estate. I'd love to help you with that. Give me a call at 352-7716, and I can answer any questions that you might have. Maybe you've got a property that's upside down. Maybe you're interested in buying a bank foreclosure and have a question about that. Or maybe you just like someone to show you some houses that you're interested in or have a question about a particular property. Once again, give me a call. My name's Greg, 352-7716, and I'd love to help you. Thanks.
This just in. Tower District houses are selling for as little as $300 per month. If you have a job and decent credit, you can own your own home. If you can come up with a down payment, you can own a home a lot cheaper than you can rent, and your payment will never go up. Also, you could deduct most of your house payment from your income taxes. If you'd like to lock in your monthly house payment at $300 to $500 per month for the next 30 years, call Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
Hi, I'm Jason Gobelli, and I'd like you to take just a minute and ask yourself a couple of questions. Are your needs being met in the real estate business? Are you getting all the latest technology that you need to be productive in this market? Are you getting the benefits that you deserve? Do you have enough leads? Are you truly making enough money for all that hard work and time you've been putting in? If not, you might want to give me a call and we can set up a confidential interview. At Connect Realty, we're one of the fastest growing companies around. There's tons of tools and benefits for agents, like freerealtor.com showcase listings, free unlimited virtual tours, free websites with nationwide IDX. We have free virtual back office, free compliance coordinators so that you can be paid right away. There's health insurance, life insurance, and the best part is the commissions start from 80% and go to 95%. And we have one of the best retirement plans in the whole industry. Now, I cannot possibly go over everything in just this short minute. Go to the website, careers@connectrealty.com, or feel free to call us at the toll-free number, or you can even call my personal line, 559-307-0550. I look forward to talking to you. Thanks.
This segment is brought to you by Corrine Hatfield of Platinum Mortgage. If you are thinking of purchasing a new home or refinancing an existing home, call Corrine Hatfield at 917-7111.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Hello, welcome back to Voice of the Valley. And I have something up on my screen. No more Voice of the Valley. That's the show that I try to know. Oh my God, I'm so touched. Cathy is hot. That is why I watch myself. Well, I know that can't be from Rick because he's sitting right here. Or maybe it is. Maybe you just know. I'm getting some very nice messages from people. I am so moved. Maybe I won't go. Maybe I'll be back next Wednesday. Okay. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's great. Did you have some messages for me to read? Oh, those are the two messages you were talking about. Okay. All right. Let's get back to Kerry Dean. By the way, my boyfriend, my aforementioned boyfriend, has to know, are you related to Paula Dean?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I've been asked that before, though.
Okay, and Kerry told me the funniest story because everybody, me included, wants to call her Kerry Dean. Like, Dean is her middle name, like Thelma Sue or, Linda Lou or whatever. And so, tell that story real quick, Kerry, because it's so cute.
For some reason, people call me by my full name. So they say, Kerry Dean, can you come and join us for lunch? Or Kerry Dean, can you sit here? Hi, Kerry Dean. It's never just Kerry. And so I was on a cruise, and this lady said to me, Kerry Dean, what's your last name? And I said, well, my last name is Dean. And she said, Kerry Dean. And you could just see this look on her face like, what kind of mother would name her child Kerry Dean?
I think that's a great story, and it's so nice of you just to kind of roll with that, because it's just Kerry Dean. It's just like, it's perfect. Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about, so I don't want to get sidetracked. I want to talk about, now you were in network marketing before. I would like to know just a little bit of the companies and your success. You achieved success with those as well. How you were introduced to Xocai and why you decided to go with Xocai.
Okay. I was in, the first company I was ever introduced to was a company that probably most people know. It was Mary Kay Cosmetics. It was a great company. It is a great company, and it's still going strong today.
Very.
I was very successful in that company. I won several cars.
Wow.
So I drove around in a pink car, and I was quite successful. And then another company, I had changed. And another company I was involved with was Melaleuca, and many of you probably have heard of that. And Melaleuca was the same. I did very well. I was quite successful. I was a green person, so I love the idea of the Melaleuca products. The reason that I chose Xocai over those other companies, and for me this was important, is that Xocai, MXI is the name of our company, and I mention that because when I first joined, I knew the name of the chocolate was Xocai, and I kept getting these things from MXI, and I didn't open them. It turned out they were in small checks, and that was a mistake. I didn't even know the name of the company. But what I did know was this company, this business that I have now, was willable. And so you have to remember, I was just come from a position of being left on my own, and so the idea of a strong residual income that was willable to my family if something happened to me was very appealing to me.
I have never heard that before in a network marketing company.
I hadn't either.
Yeah, okay.
And that's one of the things that's unique about this business. And I have, unfortunately, I lost a key leader last year. She passed away.
Oh, my.
And she left her business to her cousin, who is reaping the benefits of that business. Every month she's getting is well paid. And I think I was told that last year that business paid $158,000 to her cousin, who's not working the business. But that's true residual income.
Absolutely.
And that is something that this company offers that the others I was involved with did not. With the first company, it was a great product, but when you stopped selling the product, your business ended.
Exactly.
The second company had what's called a leadership income. So as long as you're working, that money is coming in. But when you stop working, that leadership, the idea is that you're paid for being a good leader, and that's important. But for this company, the idea that you could build something strong, and it's also a sellable business. So
it's a sellable business?
Yes, if I ever chose, I could sell my business.
I didn't know that.
I can't imagine why I would. But, you don't know what's going to happen in your future. And for me, the idea that I could have a residual income, I used to think that I could end up, I don't know if you have bag ladies where you live, but we have bag ladies in Toronto, and I used to worry I was going to end up being a bag lady in Toronto, and it turns out it's designer bags, but I didn't know that at the time.
I was just going to say, you are a bag lady, but they're Gucci bags, and so it's all good, yeah.
But I had this fear, and so the idea of a residual income, so if something happened to me, I would have money coming in. That was one of the things I just loved about this company, was that it was willable, that this business, and I thought, I could, if I could build it, and it had a step-by-step way to build it, and that I could have this residual income, and I would also have something to leave my family if something happened to me. I love that.
I think that's
incredible. It's that this is not the people that own this company were already icons in the chocolate world. They had already developed a huge chocolate market. Jeanette Brooks, the founder of our company and the creator of our products, was already had huge market share. In fact, she was the biggest importer of Belgian chocolate in North America. So they had strong roots and strong history in chocolate. So they weren't a company out looking to make fast money by opening a networking company and then trying to find some product that they could push through.
Right.
This was a company that was a strong chocolate company And they decided, because of the type of product it needed a voice. And they decided, because of that, to take this product to network marketing. And I really like that, because to me that means, chocolate's not going to go out of style. It's
Never.
kind of a sexy product. It
Yes.
never goes out of style.
Yes.
And so that means this business will be here probably long after you and I are gone. I believe that this is a strong, viable business. And so when you're looking at building something that you're hoping to leave to your children, you want to know that that's going to be a strong business. And so I like that. I like that whole concept. I like the product. I like the people. They have high integrity. It's a family-owned business, and I like that because that meant they had a vested interest in the distributors doing well, rather than being a shareholder business where they're only looking at the bottom line. I feel that the company cares about the distributors, and that's important to me. It wasn't startup when I joined. It had been 2 years.
That's pretty.
On the ground.
I would say that's still a startup, wouldn't you? I mean, that's a pretty new company.
It's a new company.
Yeah.
And always with a new company, there's things to iron out.
Yeah.
But with this company, it really is pretty solid. And the reason it's so solid is because the products are so phenomenal. And as I said, it doesn't go to style, and it's unique, and they were healthy. So when the lady called me and told me about this business, and she's a friend of mine, she lives in another province, which would be above Minneapolis, okay. If you're thinking about the United States.
Okay.
And about a 3-hour flight from where I live. And she called me on the phone, and she told me about this product. Her name is Sandy Chambers. And she said, Kerry, there's this chocolate company, and it's out there. It's network marketing. And she said that they have a healthy chocolate. And she said there's no wax, there's no fillers, there's no caffeine. And my thought was, to be honest, my initial reaction was, I bet you it's going to taste like crap.
Exactly.
Because I thought it's healthy and it's chocolate and there's no
that
sugar.
Can't go together at all.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense.
Right.
But then, because I was a nurse, and you'll probably identify with this, Cathy, I thought, well, gosh, I've given people lots of things over the years that tasted like crap, and they took them for their health, and so maybe it would work with this.
Absolutely.
So I was delighted when the chocolate came in. It tasted so good.
Oh, yes.
The other thing, as a nurse, I had always taught people is you can't have chocolate because of the caffeine, especially if they had heart problems or anything like that. So this is a medicinal-grade chocolate. And I Googled antioxidants. You have to remember, this was 5 years ago.
Yes.
People were not as aware of antioxidants as they are now. And there was a lot of studies. I think there was 30,000 studies on antioxidants in dark chocolate on the internet. Now there's over 3 million.
That's incredible.
So it really is incredible. Yeah. So the product has come a long way. And at the same time, it was kind of interesting for myself, being in this depression and very stressed about my lack of income, not knowing which way to turn. My blood pressure had shot up. And I went to the doctor, and I said to her, she's a very open-minded person, and I said to her, I would really like to try something. She said, I have to put you on medication. My blood pressure was 156 over 105.
Oh.
So as a
not good.
That's
not good.
Bad.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, that's bad.
That's bad.
And she said, I'm open to that. What would you like to try? What natural thing would you like to try? And I said, healthy chocolate. And she said, no, I'm serious. What would you like to try? Because to her, there was just no...
Crazy lady.
Yeah. And so she said, I said, can you give me a month? She said, I'll give you a few weeks. And in 3 weeks, it came down to 140 over 90, which is still hypertension, but about after 5 weeks, it had come down to normal range.
So, okay, wait, let me just stop you right there, because I really want people to absorb what you just said, and then unfortunately, we have to go to another commercial, but we'll be right back.
Okay.
Your blood pressure lowered eating healthy chocolate and nothing else. I want people to really listen to that, because I mean, to you and me, because we've been on the product for a while, we've seen the health benefits, but people listening, they're still trying to put together healthy chocolate lowers blood pressure, chocolate lowers no, that can't be true. Yes, it's true. And so I just really wanted to let people absorb that for a minute, because like Kerry said, this is medicinal. This is not candy, which is what I've learned to say at my tastings. This is not candy, right?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
So, having said that, and I hate to stop you in mid-thought again, hold on to your thought. We have another commercial. We'll be back in a couple. All right? So, come back.
Mike Briggs Properties has a very special historic property for sale that can be used as a home or as a business. This classic California craftsman historical home is located in the Tower District, Fresno High area. The interior ambiance displays a heyday of craftsman aesthetics, substance, strength, symmetry, and casual grace. Elegantly appointed mahogany and oak structural elements integrate form and function in a harmonious flow from room to room in this two-story, 4,500-foot home. The property also includes a nearly 800-foot, two-bedroom apartment above the garage. This property is well suited for a professional office type of business or for a large family or combined living and workspace. The lot included with this property is park-sized with plenty of room for expansion or as a parking lot big enough to support a commercial business. For more information on this property, call Mike Briggs Properties at 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
Welcome to Jothny's Porch.
That.
We have been doing this for a year. My memory of the porch is that it's very much where women ruled. It was almost a throne.
You be going like this.
I'm circular. See, Southern folks are circular. What she said, preach. You want me to preach? Love sharing those things and those things that'll make you stronger and better and go for.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Turn me around. Hey. Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody.
Okay, no more drama in my life. No more. To myself, I said self, myself said yeah. Oh.
That was a good one.
That was good, girl. I'm good. I'm helping you become the best reflection of yourself. And what was that? The one God intended all along. We're going to get there together, I promise you. Thank God for the post. Amen.
You can advertise your business, your product, or your event on Central Valley Talk, the Valley's only internet television station. Several of our programs are also picked up on Dish and cable networks. For the best advertising dollar, call Central Valley Talk at 579-1360. This segment is brought to you by Blimpies in the Tower District. For all of your lunch and dinner needs, go to Blimpies in the Tower District.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
All right. Welcome back to Voice of the Valley. I am getting the nicest compliments and comments from you people. I'm getting verklempt. I'm getting all emotional. But thank you so much for your kind words. All right, we are going to jump right back in with Kerry and talk about. She was just talking about how chocolate lowered her blood pressure. By the way, Xocai is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kerry, but it's medically indicated in Canada for several different medical situations. Is that correct?
Yes. In Canada, we are allowed to make some health claims. In the United States, we just talked about the fact that it is healthy chocolate.
Yes.
And it is the only chocolate that has been, we have that name, healthy chocolate. And it's very exciting for us because we're the only chocolate in North America that can be called healthy. And nobody else can really touch that. It's very, very, very exciting.
You don't see that on Snickers or Reese's or Kit Kat. Oh, I guess I shouldn't mention products by name, but I mean those are candy. Those are candy, right? Those are
candies. And you have to remember that in North America, what happens is the cocoa butter, which is the main part of chocolate, when it comes to North America, many of the companies here take the cocoa butter out and that's used for cosmetics. And so they replace the cocoa butter with vegetable oil. And so in Europe, they're not even allowed to call North American chocolate. They call it chocolate-flavored candy.
Are you?
And so
wow.
What we have here is true Belgian chocolate. And it's sweetened with the acai berry, which is from the Amazon rainforest. Yes. So we have a combination. We really, we're a chocolate company, but we're really an antioxidant company.
Okay.
Because what the company has done is taken the cocoa bean, they've cold pressed it so it doesn't lose any of the antioxidants. They've added the acai berry and the blueberry to sweeten it, and what we have is this fantastic product that really people are seeing a lot of health benefits from, mostly because it's an anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
And whenever, as you know, inflammation causes so many of the diseases that are out there.
Well,
people think of inflammation as, sore knees and sore elbows, but your veins and arteries can be inflamed as well, and that's one of the causes of high blood pressure. So it works so well for so many different people, for so many different things. And I love when there's a group of distributors together and you hear them talking, because it's amazing the things that this product has done for people. And so I feel good promoting it, because I know that everyone is going to have a benefit from using the product. So that gives me a sense of confidence.
Absolutely.
It tastes good, and it's chocolate.
Absolutely. The reason, and I tell people this at my tastings, is the reason I got into this is because, and we'll talk briefly about the law of attraction, which I firmly believe in, and I've been told that you are inclined to believe in the law of attraction and all that. But anyway, through a series of events, I was able to attend the convention in Nevada, and where I learned about the science. And then, so I thought, wow, not only does this taste great, but there's science to back it up. And that was really the turning point for me, because I've been a pharmaceutical rep for so many years, and I've read thousands of papers in dozens of different medical journals. And when I saw the science behind this product, it's like it was amazing to me. And then I just wanted to show people here that I do have my energy drink here. I wanted to show people that, and I'm sipping that in my. This is energy drink right here, and it's the proprietary blend of the cacao and the acai berry that Kerry talked about, and just no added caffeine. It's all natural. It's fabulous, and I would drink it all the time if I could afford it, frankly, but I can't afford it right now. I can't afford that much, so I have to ration them out, unfortunately. But soon I'll have one refrigerator just stocked with energy drinks. So having said that, let's move on, because we're running out of time, believe it or not. I want to get into how this is such a great business opportunity for people like myself who want to make extra money, who feel good about the product. I know that when people buy this, they're doing something for themselves that's very healthy. And momentum, I've heard that mentioned at several tastings, like from Lucy Beal, who's been on our show, and Sean Nelson. What is momentum? Why is it so important? And why should people get into this now?
Okay. Well, first of all, it always when you have an amazing product, you have a good opportunity. So we have an amazing product, and just like you said, we have an all-natural product with scientific background. So I love that. I always mention that, because being a kind of a science geek myself, having gone through all those years of university, I like to know the science. You can say something, but I like to see the science.
Yep.
Not everybody does, but to me that was important. So you have a great product, but just for some of the business things, and remembering where I was when I started.
Yes.
I liked that I could get it. If I told somebody else about this, I could get a check. They sent me a check and I got it the following week. Now you have to remember, I was the person who was on a first name basis with all the bill collectors. People were calling me. So for me, that was really important, that I could get the money quickly. Every other company I've ever been in was a monthly check, that at the end of the month you received a check. For this one to know the very next week I had money coming in was important for me. Wasn't huge amounts, but it was steady.
Absolutely.
And at that time, it was huge amounts for me, because every penny counted.
Yeah.
And so I had that money coming in. And I'm sure you experienced the same thing. It's a thrill.
It
you
is.
just told somebody, and within a blink, you're getting a check. I always ask when I'm doing some sort of a presentation, how many of the distributors have received a check from MXI? And everybody's hands go up.
It's so fun.
And that's very powerful.
It is very powerful.
So a lot of people don't want to be like me and do this full time. A lot of people just want to have something extra. I have a distributor. The very first person I asked, she's a minister, and my minister, and she doesn't want to do this full time. She loves being a minister, but it doesn't pay well. So she wanted this for the extra things. And since she started this, she's been able to take a 7-week trip to Australia, where it's her home She hadn't been there in 26 years. She'd been able to buy all new furniture, new cars, new computer for her and her husband, and yet not take away from her ministry in any way. And so that kind of story, to me, is what the real story is, because I'm helping people. I'm helping a lot of people achieve whatever their dreams are, whether they're small or whether they're big. And I like that. Momentum is a time and networking company. And a lot of the big networking companies that you hear about, know about, and have been around for a while, direct selling companies like Mary Kay and network marketing companies like Melaleuca, you hear about this idea of momentum.
Yes.
And, those are two companies that I'm familiar with. And I can tell you, I'll tell you a story. In 1979, Mary Kay came to Canada, and she talked at the front of a hotel, and people, she was a fabulous speaker, and people lined up and signed up, and people became directors overnight in that company. And that company was experiencing, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It's probably somebody phoning to buy $1 million worth of stock.
Absolutely, I'm sure it is. I think you should take that call.
And that company experienced momentum at that time. And people became what's called a director almost overnight and won their pink cars. Now, they didn't all stay with the company because, they didn't have the leadership skills to go along with what was happening. But for me, I joined the company about 10 years later, after momentum. Still a good, strong company. But I didn't have the advantage that those people had by joining at that time. And so what it took some people overnight to do, it took me 4 years of working my butt off to get to that same level. That's momentum. It's just a huge growth that happens, and it happens because a number of factors come into play. One is you have to have a high retention rate. That means the people who start eating the product or using the product will continue to do so. And at that time in Mary Kay, there wasn't a lot of people teaching you how to put your makeup on. Now, every drugstore, there's somebody there to teach you that. But at that time, they didn't. And for us, because people have such great results with the product, we have 10 products that you mentioned, the energy drink. We have an anti-aging supplement. We have so many fabulous products. They all have this unique calm and antioxidant cacao in them. That's what makes them all the same. But we have a variety of products that people see real results from. And so that keeps people purchasing on a regular basis. And so you have to have the sales. The other thing we have is a strong leadership. People often think that the sales just create the momentum. They're leaders who are so committed in this business, and they're creating the sales that help create the momentum. Very strongly, also have a very strong team at the office. Jeanette Brooks is a famous food creator. She's created over 600 different foods, and she's the owner and the creator of all of our chocolate products. They've brought on wonderful scientists and doctors who back her up. Her son runs the company on the day-to-day business, and he's been able to bring in high-quality people that really you feel confident that the company's in good hands. So that's important. So it's just not one factor. It's a combination of factors where you have the Brooks family, and they're a blessing in my life, and they have the strong leadership in the field. You have the strong sales that are consistently every single year have gone up since I've been involved with the company, and before that. And then you have the strong retention. And this creates this, if you can imagine, a big pot. I like to think of it as a big pot of water boiling. And, the water starts off, and starts off cool, and it warms up and warms up. And then you see the little bubbles come up. And all of a sudden, you get a bubble here and a bubble there and a bubble there. And all of a sudden, the whole pot goes. And that's what momentum is like.
Yes.
And when that happens, your business really
takes
blows
off.
Up. And, it just takes off. And we're just approaching those numbers. So it's a very exciting talk. One of the main leaders in our company, Paula Pritchard, calls it the sweet spot.
Yes.
She's a famous networker, well known all over the world. And she calls this, where we are right now, the sweet spot. It's just before. And it doesn't mean that people that join your business a year from now or 2 years from now or even 10 years from now, like I did after 10 years in Mary Kay, will not be able to build a good, strong, successful business. They just don't have that same opportunity that we have by being right here, right now.
And then, Kerry, I'm going to I'm sorry. One more time, one last time, and then, you know, we're just getting on a roll, and then we have to take a commercial break. So hang in there with me. We'll be right back. Thank you. A couple of minutes. We'll be right back with Kerry, and we'll wrap things up. Thank you.
America's Sub Shop has arrived in the Tower District. Blimpie's is the best place to get delicious sandwiches, salads, baked goods, and smoothies at reasonable prices. You won't believe the great value of Blimpie's $5 combo deals. The fresh baked bread and big bowl taste will bring you in, and the friendly service and great prices will keep you coming back. A Blimpie sandwich is great on your lunch break or as a healthy meal for the whole family. Try Blimpie's today, located directly across from the Tower Theater. We know you'll love it.
Welcome to Voice of the Valley. I am your host, Cathy Wilcox, and two of Cathy's favorite things are going to be featured on the show today. Number one is money. Number two,
fine moves we can do.
alcohol! My first guest.
Back and forth ever so gently.
I have to get up. I have to show you this dress because I think it was made for me. Doesn't this just scream Maryland? I'm dressed for my Christmas parade outing, as you can see. Reindeer.
Number one selling wine from Argentina.
Argentina.
Cathy Wilcox, Voice of the Valley, Wednesdays at 2 on Channel 43.
Hi, Bill Carmichael here, manager of Valley Gold Mine Fresno. I'd like to tell everybody that we've relocated to the Tower District at 1212 North Van Ness Avenue. If you have any broken or unwanted jewelry you'd like to get top dollar for, give us a call at 559-970-8660. Also, we're on the web at www.valleygoldminefresno.com. If you're the type that likes to entertain at home, we have some gold parties that we can tell you about. And also, if you have children in schools and they have trouble raising funds, we have a great fundraiser that works as well. Once again, my number is 559-970-8660. Thank you.
This segment is brought to you by David Parker from the law offices of Parker, Kern, Nard, and Wenzel.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Few more minutes with Kerry and Kerry Dean. There's so much more I want to talk to Kerry about, but we're going to have to save that for another time, and hopefully she'll come back at another time so we can talk a little bit more in depth. But you practice something that I do, and that's the law of attraction, and there's no hocus pocus, there's no magical thing, but talk about, please, your vision board and kind of what your mind process, and then I really want to know how millionaires spend their day. So let's wrap up with how you spend your day, but talk about your vision board, please.
I actually, when I started this, I put some things into play on a vision board, and most people understand the idea of how a vision board works. And I didn't actually use a board because I was traveling. I used a book, and I put everything in the vision book of how I wanted things to be. And I designed it thinking of the life that I wanted, which seemed pretty far-fetched.
Yes, doesn't it?
From
Yeah.
the life I was living. But I didn't just put pictures in of things maybe that I wanted, because for me, I didn't really want things. I wanted memories. I wanted happy memories so that I had things with my family. So for me, my family is very important to me. So I would always include pictures of my family. For instance, I wanted this big, massive cottage, and I wanted to be able to celebrate. So I cut out pictures of a cottage, lake house, I guess you would call it in the States. And I put pictures of my dad because I want him to be there, and my kids and my grandchildren, and all of these things. So for me, a lot of it was a lifestyle that I didn't have that I would love to have. And then I would write around that a scenario of how it was, as if I was there in the present tense.
Exactly.
So for the cottage, I wrote, I'm sitting on my Xocai chair, Andorada chair, whatever you call it, and drinking a glass of wine. I named the winery, and two loons swim by, and I can hear the kids in the distance playing beach volleyball.
So very specific.
Yeah,
Very
specific.
Very specific.
Very different from what I was living.
Yes.
But very specific on, and I just let my imagination, it was almost like an escapism.
But you have that now, correct? I mean, you have that now.
Yes.
Okay.
And, when I was having my wine and the loon swam by, and I thought to myself, I can't believe this is the life I'm living. And then I thought, well, I should believe it because I created it. This is exactly what I wrote in my book.
We all create our own reality, and that's so important for people to understand, right?
And
yes.
for me, the Xocai has, I wanted to help my friends and family. I used to think if I won the lottery, who I would give the money to. But this, to me, was better than ever winning the lottery because it's like each of my friends and family have won their own.
Exactly.
So everybody's experiencing, a better life, whether it's their health is much better, their bank accounts are definitely much better, and the time freedom that this has given. I get to choose. I'd never been on a cruise before 2008 in my life, and I've been on 11. I've won 3 Mercedes. I mean, my car was so bad that I had to have paper towels in the front seat wipe off my window because my defogger didn't work.
You won 3 Mercedes?
I've won 3 since I joined the company.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. And that, hey, we were talking during the break about, I've mentioned on the show that, I get really tired of the whole mentality of how guilt wraps around money and money is evil, and it's not at all. And like Kerry said, money is just energy. It's another form of energy. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to...
energy that you can use to help.
To help people.
I've been able to help far more people since with this than I've ever been able to do before. Certainly more than I was ever able to do in my nursing career.
Well, absolutely.
And I always felt good about that I had helped a lot of people. But this is different.
One of my greatest visions that I have for myself is to buy my daughter the car that she wants. I mean, I can't think of anything that would bring me more pleasure other than buying the car of my dreams than to buy her the car of her dreams and just surprise her and just say, "Here's your car, honey." And just see the look on her face would just and you get to do things like that in your position, and we all can, however we achieve that, which is, and creating your and the time freedom that you talk about. I mean, all network marketing companies talk about the time freedom, and that's really, it's true. And you still work very hard. You're constantly training people, which I give you high marks for. It's not like, I'm just collecting all my money and you people are on your own.
No, I'm still working. You're working every day. I love it.
Yes, you are. And
really, if you think about it, the time freedom, time freedom to me means doing what you want when you want and choosing whatever you want, not making all of your choices on what you can afford to do. And that's where I was in my life. All my choices were based on what I could afford to do, not what I really wanted.
And I hear you, and I'm totally on your page, and I want to thank you so much. I do have to wrap up because we've got to get ready for the next show, but thank you so much, Kerry Dean, for spending an hour or so with us, and God bless you for all the work that you've done, and I look forward to further training with you and further success with Xocai. And again, I want to thank all my viewers for watching Voice of the Valley and for supporting me, and for my wonderful, fabulous boyfriend who always tells me what a great job I do. And for the viewers who send in the nice messages today, I thank you very, very much. I will be back. And I look forward to that. So everybody take care in the meantime, and we'll keep you posted on when Voice of the Valley will return. But right now we're going to get ready for Tim Thiessen. So you all have a great day, and thanks again, Kerry Dean. Have a great time up there in Canada, eh?
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we'll talk soon. We'll talk tonight on training. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.